Even within Karachi, there are hundreds of thousands of acres of undeveloped land. So why are we not looking at those areas and heading out towards islands that will require huge infrastructure development before they can be?
Now, Arif Belgaumi, who you just saw in Rahul's piece there, is an architect and town planner. And as I've mentioned, you saw him in the story. He's also a lecturer at the Indus Valley School of Art and Architecture, and he joins me from Karachi. Good to have you on the program. You know, we just heard you in the story there where you said that there's no shortage of land to use. So I'm wondering why Bundle Island was chosen for this project.
I think Bundle Island gives the impression of an exclusive precinct, separate from the rest of the city, exclusive, coastal development, sort of like the developments we have seen in Dubai.
Mm-hmm. What would be the what would be the environmental impact of this type of project, though, on Bundle Island?
Well, Bundle Island is a tidal island. It's a low-lying island. It would require extensive reclamation and level raising with sand extracted from the seabed, which would damage the mangroves that are there. It would completely transform the island. And so you would be looking at least 3 to 4 meters of reclamation, raising the level of the island. Much of the island at high tide is below water. So in order for it to become habitable, you will have to completely change the topography of the island and probably alter the seabed around it in order to, mm-hmm. What impact that will have on adjacent coastline and on the channels the shipping channel for the Port Qasim, which is just upstream from there. That remains to be seen because nobody's done an environmental impact study of this project.
Right. We know that Karachi is already prone to inundation and suffered catastrophic flooding during this year's monsoons. I mean, if this project goes forward, could it potentially worsen the environmental impact that we're seeing in Karachi?
Most of the flooding that happens in Karachi is urban flooding, the result of higher amount of rain, which is not able to drain out of the city and therefore causes flooding. It's not flooding from the sea. However, we have had storms that have had storm surges that were mitigated by the presence of the mangroves. If the mangroves go away, we are likely to have more impact from those storm surges from tropical storms. At the same time, one has to consider the fact that in the near future, we're going to be dealing with sea level rise due to climate change. Now, as these are low-lying islands, they are likely to be flooded, more likely to be flooded when we have sea level rise.
Mm-hmm. Plans to develop the island have faced years of opposition and lawsuits. How likely are opponents to be able to completely stall or even stop this project? Or do you think this is an inevitability at this point?
I couldn't say that at this point. I think there are a lot of people who are opposed to it, including the provincial government. They have opposed it because the federal government has opted to take over those islands. And the provincial government feels that they are the property of the province of Sindh. So there are several issues, relating to the ownership of the islands. Then there are challenges by the fishermen whose livelihood is at stake, and then there are challenges from environmentalists who feel that this would have a tremendous impact on the environment around Karachi. These mangroves, by the way, are one of the largest carbon sinks around the city, and they help to clear the air of the pollution that gathers around the city every day. So it is imperative that these are maintained and preserved.
All right. Thank you for making that point. Arif Belgaumi in Karachi. Thank you.